Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, to all of our non-binary friends, to everyone on the spectrum and in between, welcome to another episode of The Shutter Show. My name is Ken Stacknick. This is my co-host,
David Marlowe.
And we are here to talk about a little film called Black Sunday, a.k.a. The Mask of Satan.
A.k.a. Vampire's Kiss?
This is a movie with... This is a movie...
It has like 5 titles.
Yeah, La maschera del demonio. Is a terrible pronunciation of the...
It's Italian. That's all you need to know about it.
Yes, it is.
It's Italian, so it is everything.
It has a lot to it. It is a little movie by one of the absolute masters of Italian cinema, Mario Bava. But before we get into that, David, how you doing this week?
You know, Ken, not bad today. Not bad. I got myself a new truck, and I'm feeling pretty happy about it. And it's a brand new truck. Drove it off the lot with only 12 miles on it.
Is it one of those zombie trucks with like the fencing on it, and it's got one of those like Mr. Plow things at the front, so you can just like plow through zombies if you have a problem? Is the top wrapped with barbed wire?
It is capable of equipping all of those things. Might take a little bit of work. Not sure the lease is going to allow for it.
Is there a brand of barbed wire you plan on using? I know you work construction, so I know you know what the best brands of barbed wire are, and I need you to also listen for me.
Can I have all the best brands of barbed wire? There's Barbie and Ken.
Yes.
There's
Shrimp on the Barbie.
Shrimp on the all the best barbed wire.
Yeah, the Barbarossa brand.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Ken, how are you?
That's the choice of pirates everywhere. I'm not too bad. Just another day in paradise. Another day waiting for the vaccine.
Yeah, waiting for the vaccine. Also waiting for me to bring you tacos today.
Oh, I mean,
I was supposed to be here at 7, and I left after 7 to go pick us up Del Taco, and I got to Del Taco and had no wallet.
An exciting story, and one that you should tell at parties and often.
Oh, I have such exciting stories.
It is the best. Speaking of exciting stories, David, I believe this is your first Mario Bava film. Is that correct?
This is my first Mario Bava film. Lord knows I've probably ran into a Mario Bava film at some point and didn't realize it. I am familiar with the name, but in no way, shape, or form am I familiar with the work.
With the filmography.
Yeah.
Now, David, what did you think of Black Sunday?
It's fucking beautiful.
Damn right.
And come to realize also, Mario Bava was a set designer too, correct?
Mm-hmm. And cinematographer and a special effects photographer.
It all shows.
Oh, it is
100%.
For a person's directorial debut to be this gorgeous, this ahead of its time, to be this influential, to... One of the best things about Black Sunday, hands down, by far, is how much it does with absolutely nothing at all. Mm-hmm. Like, most of this screenplay is like people talking to each other in brick rooms.
Yeah, it is the most basic of plots, if anything. But I could not have given 2 fucks because, my God, it was so beautiful. It was so pretty. However, I think Mario Bava could have benefited from maybe taking a zoology class at some point or another, because that bat is...
The rubber bat, despite the fact I would argue...
It's also the 60s.
That it was about as good of a scene that you can do with 2 traditionally trained actors fighting with a rubber bat. It is still, unfortunately, a scene where trained actors fight a rubber bat. It is not particularly good.
It got us from point A to point B.
But it does lean into the most that you can do in that situation, which is to imply and not show, to not dwell on the rubber bat.
Oh no! I didn't dwell. Once it happened, it happened.
Yeah, it cuts around the rubber bat. It does. It is one of those scenes where you can see the director walk up to the actor in the behind the scenes and put a hand on his shoulder and is like, "So today you are going to fight the bat. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to be the best scene that you have ever been in, but it will look good. So I need you."
Sets will be nice.
I am reminded of a story from the making of a James Bond movie, Thunderball. And Tom Jones was hired to sing the theme song, Thunderball. And he got to the recording studio, and he got into the booth, and he put on the headset, and he was going over the lyrics, and he turned to the producer, and he just said, "What the hell does Thunderball mean?" And Broccoli walked up to him and put his hand on his shoulder and said, "Tom, I do not know. Just sing the hell out of it." And that is Mario Bava to me. You may not necessarily know what's going on in the movie, but he is going to sing the hell out of it, and you're going to enjoy every moment of it.
You may question the material, but do not question how good I will make you look.
Exactly. Mario Bava was famous. I believe it was the movie Danger Diabolique. The producer came up to him and was like, Mario, look, we don't have the money to shoot this the way that we want. Can you make this movie for $2.1 million? And he goes, 2.1? You're crazy. I do it for 1.8. Like, Mario Bava was a lunatic. He was a player and a pimp, and we loved him so much.
He loved the challenge in just making the best out of nothing.
Absolutely. And even the stories that you hear about him on set are much the same, because he came up, he basically came up in the film industry as the guy who fixed the problems for your movie. Like, he got Black...
Oh, he was the Ken Stachnik.
He got Black Sunday because he went in and he bailed out another movie that a director had screwed up super, super bad. And he went in and shot a bunch of stuff for, like, Second Unit and filled out, like, the special effects stuff. And the producer was basically like, all right, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know, I like this script. And he's like, all right. Yeah, no, I totally owed you a solid, man. So, yeah, whatever you want to do. And that's how he got Black Sunday. And, mind you, yeah, this, again, his directorial debut and the confidence that he has with the camera. If you are an up-and-coming film student or a director or a cinematographer, hell, even if you're just like a dolly grip, just the way that Mario moves his camera in this movie...
Oh, absolutely.
...is something that should be studied as, like, how do I make a scene that's, like, literally two dudes standing next to curtains interesting?
Mm-hmm.
And Mario's the guy...
Well, what was, like...
who's going to find a way to make it look astonishing.
Well, there's even just a simple scene... where it's just one person. It's the farm girl milking the cow, and she goes to look out the window, and outside the window is a full set and a full backdrop, and it just, like, if you're just looking outside the window, you're like, God damn, that's fucking gorgeous. Oh, and it's super simple, like nothing to it, just this one character realizing something's happening, but. He just pretty, like, it's just like the director said, you know, this doesn't have to look bad. It doesn't have to look normal. I could just make it look beautiful.
Well, there's so much...
for no reason whatsoever.
And none of this is a mistake. There's, if you do some research into the behind the scenes, you will find out that Barbara Steele's skin was painted blue for most of the movie, so that way her skin would show up as a lighter color. Mm-hmm. You find out that most of the shadows and lights in the movie were colored. Purple shadows.
Well, like the sets were chromatic,
red lights.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they wanted to get very, very specific colored grays.
Yeah.
In what they were doing. And one of the most effective and groundbreaking special effects comes towards the end of the movie when we see Barbara Steele's character transform and age.
Yes, I did notice that. Just thinking about... It's so subtle. Mm-hmm. It's very subtle.
So, the way that they did that was they drew old age lines on her face in red and then bathed her face in red light so they would all disappear. And then, as they wanted the transformation to happen, they dimmed down the red light and dimmed up the green light. And the green light then contrasts with the red marks, creating the black skin tones on her face. And that is how, in camera, in 1960, they were able to create a woman appearing to just age.
This is what I miss about older film. It's not just a fuck it, we'll do it in post. There's so much complicated physical work that has to happen to get the simplest effect. That is insane. It's so cool.
It's really cool. It's really interesting, and it reminds you that it makes it so clear that what Mario Bava was doing was someone who was at the peak of his art form and at the same time understood how everything came together. There's so much amazing stuff in Mario Bava's filmography that involves forced perspectives or matte paintings or simple makeup effects like that. His understanding of how light and color would interplay and show up on film was just so revolutionary. There's a reason that Martin Scorsese said that Mario Bava is the guy who taught him how to move his camera. And there are just so many simple shots. There's the one shot that I think of in this movie all the time is it's a wide shot of the one doctor sitting at the fireplace, and it's just a long push that starts off as a wide over the shoulder where you see the portrait in the background, and then it pushes forward and then comes around on the doctor sitting at the fireplace, and it just kind of comes around. You get to see his face, and it's so expressive, and it's so simple. And on top of it, I found out that this is the only movie where Mario Bava had enough money to officially rent a real dolly. According to Tim Lucas and the behind-the-scenes making of the Mario Bava films, most of the dolly shots that Mario Bava did in his movies were done in a Red Ryder wagon that had a homemade seesaw in the back that he used as a jib. And I almost don't want to believe this information.
Because it means you spent way too much money on a dolly.
Yes. It's one of those things where if it's true, it almost makes me mad. Because of how many generations of people have been told, well, you need this and X, Y, Z, and it has to cost this much. And Mario Bava is out here revolutionizing cinema with a Red Ryder wagon and a seesaw he built in his backyard. And mind you, this is also 1960. These are not small light cameras. This is not a Bolex. This is a big-ass camera.
This is the kind of thing they don't teach in modern-day film school.
They don't teach it in school, period.
Well, when I moved out, when I first moved out here, I moved out here things like, okay, it's like I would like to... Because when I was in high school, one of the first places I had thought about maybe going to was the New York Film Academy, because it was the only school I saw that had an acting for film class, which I thought was fascinating. Come to realize I move out here, And I'm like, cool, this is a chance to do it. I do it. Come to realize that the New York Film Academy they have all the fancy equipment, and they have the locations to shoot, and they have the resources. Otherwise, they are complete fraud. They are an absolute terrible shit school that I've every agent I went to after that told me, take that school off your resume. Like, for the love of God, please do. And I've been part of like student film projects where the teacher needed an actor just to be in front of the camera to help his students understand how certain shots worked. And then you just think down, like, I would see them laying down all the track for their dolly. And I would see them laying, like, and now when you tell me, like, oh, he just used a fucking Red Ryder, like, just a red wagon to get this shot. Like, you don't get that kind of improvisational training in modern day film school.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They immediately just tell you, like, well, you have to spend $20,000.
Exactly.
Or you have to rent this thing for this amount of dollars a day. Now, mind you, I am, as someone who has improvised a lot of gear.
You've got a lot of good gear.
He's to use a Red Ryder wagon doesn't mean that you can do, like, the advantage of it, like a Fisher 11 dolly, is you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And no matter what you do with it, it's going to look good. The Red Ryder wagon model, on the other hand, is like, well,
a little bumpy.
Yeah, or as long as you do it like this, it'll be fine. But if you do it like this,
yeah,
nah.
you're limited.
Yes.
You're very limited.
There are things that it's going to do well, and there are things it is not going to do well. And for me personally, where I have seen directors fail when it comes to that mindset is when they are trying to use a piece of improvised equipment to do a very specific job that requires a very specific tool. Yeah. When, like, much like, so... You absolutely, I mean, you're a carpenter, David. You absolutely can use a giant piece of concrete to drive a nail into a piece of wood. Mm-hmm. You can 100% do that.
Every tool is a hammer, baby.
Every tool is a hammer. However, there are going to be times and places where using that piece of concrete is not only going to make your job incredibly hard, it might make it borderline impossible / full-on stupid to do it that way. It'll just be...
But were you on a deserted island and all you had was a rock? And...
It'll get the job done.
Yeah.
The important thing to remember is it's not that you can't use a piece of concrete to knock a nail into a piece of wood. But we invented hammers for when you need to very specifically knock a hammer or a nail into a piece of wood in maybe, weird, tight circumstances.
Yeah, oh no, and absolutely, I 100% agree. If you have the equipment to get the shot, absolutely, and it makes your life easier, and it makes the shoot go by far more quickly and saves you money, absolutely 100% do that. I do feel like, just from the experience of having gone to 2 separate film schools, and been in several film classes, there is a definite, and I don't know if it's just my experience with the places that I've gone, but I feel like there's a definite lack in teaching newer filmmakers improvisational techniques when on set. It's the idea of, like, we have to get this shot, such and such broke down, or this didn't arrive with the rental truck that we brought in, like, but we have to get this shot today. This is the only time we can do it. I feel like there's not enough improvisational filmmaking techniques that are taught today. Mm-hmm. Like you see in this 1960s film with Mario Bava, showing people you can get this gorgeous shot with something this simple.
Well, I think it's a lot like... So, David, you are a carpenter. You went to carpentry school. Mm-hmm. You would be pretty upset if, while you were at carpentry school, they taught you how to slap a bunch of bullshit together with duct tape. Like, you went to carpentry school to learn
Oh yeah, you want to work. You want to work with the best equipment.
You want to learn how to do things properly.
Yeah.
Now that said, there are some times when, say, you mispoured the concrete and you have to get the rebar in, and it's gonna set in half an hour. So there is a way that we could do this, and we won't finish. And there's a way that we can finish, and it's not ideal,
and but
it will get done.
Yeah, and I will say there is something to be said that that a lot of these things that you learn, you can only learn it on the job.
Well, by learning the basics, by learning how to do it properly, you learn how to improvise and get it done in the moment.
Yeah, well, it's just like when you're on set and say I'm skinning a basic flat, and the skin on top of it is overhanging way too much, and like if you don't fix it, it's going to fuck up the whole thing. Just learning a simple technique of just screwing in a screw to the side if you're able to, and then using your hammer and then just literally prying up that skin, like just pushing it in and then shooting it so it holds. Like I learned that on the job. Like all these all these tiny little itty bitty techniques that
if you have a big gel, like say in a 4-foot by 4-foot frame, and it's a really windy day outside, one of the easiest things that you can do is you just take a piece of tape, you stretch it across the frame, and then you get a cup from craft service, and then the cup creates like a little triangle and creates pressure against the frame, and that'll get rid of most of your flippy floppy sound from the thing. And yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of only learn from being on set, by being in the wind and dealing with the frame making a bunch of noise, and it being one of those situations you're like, well, I'm sure there's a very complicated way we could find to solve this, but we do have a cup and tape. And as a result, oh look, it's fixed, because that's all that you actually needed. And I'm sure that the very first time someone figured that out was, just some random grip. Yeah. Who the DP was like, you have to get that frame to stop making noise.
He's like, I need you to MacGyver this.
Yes.
And that is what this film is. It is
all MacGyver.
It is MacGyver filmmaking.
100%.
And it's watching this for the first time, it's beautiful. It's absolutely, and also, Barbara Steele knocks it out of the park as she is one to do. The opening to this film, I was very impressed by.
Oh, the nail mask rules this was so hard.
Yeah, this was banned in the UK for a period of time, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, this is the 60s, and so, Satan ain't exactly popular around the 60s.
Yeah, and this movie got imported into America, and they cut a whole bunch of stuff out, so, the version that you're seeing on Shudder and that I have on DVD is the uncut director's.
This is the uncut
version. Yes.
Okay. Is it the original dub?
The original dub. This was done in the original Tower of Babel style that we had kind of talked about with some of the giallos. So each of the actors is allowed to speak whatever language they want.
Mostly, and from my understanding, they mostly spoke English.
Yes.
Their accents were just so heavy that they had to dub over.
Well, and it's Mario Bava's first film. I believe it's Barbara Steele's first film. She was, or very, very early in her career, she was not an established star. This definitely made her kind of a big deal in the horror community. There was also a lot of problems with her, where she was kind of diva-ish / inexperienced, in the fact that one of the crew members told Barbara Steele that Mario Bava had invented a kind of film stock that allowed you to see a person in the nude even though they were wearing clothes. And as a result, she refused to come to set that day. And Mario Bava basically had to go to her and explain that, look, Barb, dear, baby, sweetie, Babs, if I invented
all the 60s quotes that you would say to a woman.
If I invented a film stock that let me see naked ladies who were clothed, I wouldn't be working right now.
I'd be living large on a tropical island.
I'd just be cashing checks. I don't know who told you that, but no, 100%
cashing checks, getting ready to be
100%
to be Me Too'd in 2019.
100% just just normal film stock in our cameras. No magic film stock. I guarantee that. David, real quick, I guess, or not real quick, as long as you'd like. Really, you want to tell the people at home what this movie's about?
Oh yeah, let's see if I can do this. We try this every time. And,
we're a good like 25 minutes in. So.
And I always mess it up.
We should probably explain to people what this movie is.
Okay. So, even though it seems like this is a vampire film, it's a witch film?
They use the term witch and vampire they interchangeably.
It's very confusing. It's Italian, so
it's Italian.
So that's the best way to say. Is this a vampire film? Is this a witch film? It's Italian. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, fine. But yeah. Woman and her brother are accused of pretty much being Satanists and working on behalf of the devil.
Maybe doing some incest stuff.
Yeah, definitely doing some incest. It's Satan, so there's definitely incest stuff happening.
In the Italian dub, apparently there is some more overt emphasis on the possibility that bro and sis are doing diddly times together, needless to say.
Well, this film will do well on Pornhub then.
This movie actually did incredibly well. When it came out, it was when it came out, I believe it was the most popular film that American International Pictures had released up until that time, including Roger Corman's early movies. So yeah, actually it was, and I probably also guess now would weirdly be doing very well on Pornhub.
Because Pornhub just thinks everyone wants to watch incest stuff. But
anyway, let's get back to the story. David? Yeah.
Okay, so you have brother and sister who are probably definitely fucking.
Yes.
They are being told, hey, you're working for Satan, so we're going to burn you to the stake.
We don't appreciate it.
Fast forward 2 centuries later, in what looks like the same century, I
feel like 1600 and 1800... Wow, there's probably more soot in 1800.
Not a whole lot of advancements.
I don't feel like there's a huge change. I feel it's more like they're like, well, it's not magic bugs.
Yeah, until they invent indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot's going to look different.
Until we have germs, I feel like it's mostly the same.
So, it's 2 centuries later, and then we start following 2 doctors who are coming into town. And they happen across the old witch's grave, and they accidentally wake her up.
Traveling on their way to a doctor's conference, which pretty crazy if you think about wait, it's 1830, and there's a doctor's conference.
Oh man, we're gonna miss the opening speech.
Yeah, are they going to the DoubleTree? Where are they going?
They're going to the Hilton Inn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they just happen to say you know what, let's take a shortcut, and he's like, okay, I guess we happened, wheel fell off when we're taking the shortcut, so we happen across this grave.
And let's be clear, a very incredibly cheap wheel falling off. It's literally
so bad.
It's literally cameraman lunges forward as he goes, oh no! And then we just cut to them with just a wheel just sitting there, you don't even
still shot.
You don't even see the wheel settle. I feel like the grips could have charged the thing, and
they definitely forgot to get a shot, and they're like, "Well, we just spliced together as best we can."
Or it was just or it's very much just an example of we got what we could with the money that we had. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of shots in this actually that have the same kind of thing, just some of the simple stuff, when they're carrying that mask towards Barbara Steele in the beginning. Mm-hmm. If you look at the way that the shadows are moving, the shadows are not simply just passing by the mask. In a realistic, I put a flaming log on either side of me, right? Mm-hmm. That creates some sort of shadow. And I walk forward in a realistic manner, I'm walking a mask towards a lady I'm going to pound it in her face with.
Which is exactly what happened.
Which is pretty fucking
brutal.
But if you watch the way that the shadows move, they almost work in a circular fashion. Which, once you start doing more research on this, all of the stuff with the stagecoach. On the stage itself where they were shooting, they were only able to get the horse to walk 8 paces before it ran out of space. So every time you see like the stagecoach driver on the front, it's like 6 grips with sticks raised above their heads, running past the lens in a loop in order to make it look like they're riding, as like the stagecoach rider just like jumps up and down and shakes his hands.
Yeah.
Every single one of these shots that's outside is inside. Mm-hmm. So every single shot is an effect shot. And the fact that not only do they all look cool, but like it looks like it looks like the stagecoach is moving.
Did the trick.
And it absolutely is moving like a grand total of 8 feet. Like in any given direction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is just more of a testament to like what makes a Mario Bava rule. Anyway, back to what we were talking about before, what the movie's about. So yeah, 2 centuries later, and then...
Yeah, so she's put a curse on the town, or pretty much on the castle and the family.
Everyone kind of generally involved.
Yeah, anyone involved or in the general vicinity, you're cursed. So forward to 2 centuries later,
yep.
You know, doctors come across her grave, they wake her up.
Well, they kind of like futz around.
Yeah, they futz around. They don't fully wake her up.
Yeah, and then
they wake the other guy up. They wake her brother up.
Well, they fight a bat, and then one of them cuts their hand.
They bleed.
And then the bleeding drips on the corpse. And again, this is one of those things that like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie, you're like, is this the first time somebody accidentally bled on a corpse? And it came back to life all in a way that you're like, well, I feel like... That's a very specific... Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the way that, like The Mummy or something like that, where you're like, I feel like this was a very specific thing that needed to happen for this demon to come back. And, oh, look, it did. And this is one of the first times that you're like, oh...
Like, in a whole century that never happened?
Yeah.
Like, all right, well...
Everybody else was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to mess with
I'm sure she was thinking, like, I'll be out in 10 years. 2 centuries goes by. It's like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, so they kind of wake her up, and as they're going back, they're going to the inn, but they come across like one of the generations of daughters of this family, and looks exactly like the witch. Like she's pretty much like part of the curse is like, yeah, every daughter you have is going to look exactly like me for when I come back, and I can possess her, and I can look just as beautiful as I did before. So I can continue looking like Barbara Steele.
Well, it's a lot kind of like Bram Stoker's Dracula, where Dracula falls in love with the woman who looks like the woman that he used to be in love with. It's got...
Very tropey.
It's tropey, but before tropes...
Oh, yeah.
It is in the establishment of the
tropiness. Pre-trope.
Yes.
But yeah, and then of course the main male doctor character, as most male characters in a film are wont to do, gets super horny for this woman and gets really attached. His other doctor buddy gets called over, and he's kind of possessed and becomes sort of an Igor-esque guy for a couple of scenes. And the doctor shows up, you know, chaos ensues. They go to the tomb. They pretty much... Yeah, the woman eventually comes back. There's a whole flipperoo where she then tries to possess the main daughter, but crosses and stuff. And yeah,
isn't quite able to take the full form, and then just as she's about to get them to kill her, it's revealed that, oh no, you're all corpseified and gross.
Yeah, and then the townspeople are like, we can burn her this time. There isn't a bad weather forecast this time, so storm isn't gonna... Which apparently was why...
Yeah, and then they do, and then they all drank lemonade. The end.
Yeah.
It was...
I do love, like, how you think the woman's died, and the main character is just like, I will never forget her. How am I going to live my life? You knew her for a day.
Yeah, it is one of the... I mean, it is one of those... It's one of those remnants of older movies where people absolutely fell in love.
Romeo and Juliet syndrome.
Romeo, well, there's a combination of a couple of things. It's A, Romeo and Juliet syndrome, and then also B, part of it was the Hays Code. And the Hays Code basically said that two people who weren't engaged weren't allowed to touch each other in pretty much anything other than like a shaking hands, very platonic way. So the easy way to get around with that was everybody instantly fell in love. So as a result, in all of those movies in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, where everybody just sees each other and immediately is like, let's get married, it was so they could bone. Because other than that, they weren't allowed to. You weren't allowed to have a romantic comedy.
Every story was 90 Day Fiancé.
Pretty much. Except it was more like 2 Day Fiancé because you couldn't even show people like in the same bed. Like the closest thing you
It's more like Love is Blind.
you would, well, you got a lot of stuff like in the Hitchcock, like in North by Northwest, where Cary Grant and Eve Marie Saint end up in a train car together, and then it becomes nighttime, and they cut to then a train going into a tunnel, and you're like, oh, look at you, look at you, Hitch, doing the metaphor.
So we were loading, like, funny side story. I'll tell this ever so quickly. We were loading up a set today, and it's for another reality show. It's like one of those things, the grocery roundups type of store where you have to grab as much stuff as you can and you get free groceries for the fucking week. It's that, you know.
Yeah.
Why not? But one of the sets is this giant wall for the deli, and it's all these big, massive letters for deli. And one of the last letters that we had to load up was the D, and there's just so many little innuendos. It's like hold on, no wait, we can't load that up. You got to wrap the D before you put it in the thing.
Oh goodness!
And it was just there were so many unintentional innuendos happening just loading up this giant D.
Seems like it would be pretty hard to. It seems like it would be the.
I know, good story, David.
Well, no, it seems a lot like it would be that episode of The Office where they explain to Michael that he's not allowed to say "that's what she said," and he just like keeps not being able to contain himself.
Yeah, our yard guy who heads off all the set load ups every time. He's just like, oh yeah, oh load it back there. Oh, there's tons of room for that D. Mm-hmm. It's like, did you wrap up that D before you load it up?
Yeah,
there's tons of room.
Yeah, no, it seemed like the only the way to make that scene funny is that you have clearly one person in the group, the boss, who doesn't think it's funny. Much in the same way that like. If you were going to make a sketch about the Navy, the person who's in charge should not think it's funny every time he refers to the sailors as seamen. However, if everybody else really thinks it's funny every time they're referred to as seamen, and the boss literally hates it, that's a good scene.
That's why you're glad he's called Aquaman. And
that becomes a very good scene. I would watch Aquaman for a second time if all of the people of Atlantia were referred to as seamen the whole time, and just like nobody commented on it, and the only person who thought it was funny was Amber Heard, who just like kept laughing to herself and just kept it to herself the whole time. That would be amazing. Yeah. But
what I'm trying to say
are cowards.
Is you can't wrap and pack a giant D without it being funny.
I'm saying it's funniest if A, one person thinks it's really not funny and the rest of you aren't allowed to laugh. That is the funniest possible situation for a bunch of grown men having to wrap and pack a large D for a film set. Also, that said, if you're going to go to a grocery store and try to accumulate as much price value in your cart as possible, just go to the deli department. Like, the amount of money for meat to vegetables, there's just no comparison. Like, if you just, filled your cart with turkeys, that's, hundreds of dollars worth of meat, where like there's no conceivable amount of beans you could put in your cart that would be that much money. And I also feel that this conversation has gotten completely off track.
Oh, yes.
So anyway.
I know, I promised I would not get off the rails, and I knocked it way up.
Yeah, so back to Black Sunday. Anyway, Mario Bava. David, let's see here. What else about this movie do you want to talk about? I mean, like this. I mean, to me, this movie is so influential. There's so mumuch amazing style to it. There's so much. There's so many.
The sets are good. Like the sets are beautiful.
The sets are beautiful. The
score.
The score's great. The imagery. There's so many images in this. Just the image.
And that was the music by Roberto Nicolosi.
Yeah. Just the image of. Sort of the...
Ooh, he was an Italian jazz double bassist and leader born in Genoa.
Yeah, like just the casket kind of getting all shaky with cosmic witch powers and then like breaking apart.
Oh,
like,
God.
How many times have we seen that scene?
Well,
like,
just her dead face coming back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like where you can see her eyes begin to appear and bulge out into her head again.
So, fun fact, David,
how do they
do
do
you
that?
know what those eyeballs were?
Grapes?
Poached eggs, baby.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, just definitely a mask, well, a dummy that they made with poached eggs and then spotted in lights to like really give you that like zing on those. But yeah, again,
movie magic, baby.
Yeah, $5 movie magic, and then I'm sure somebody was like, oh, eggs.
Then it was probably Mario Bava. He strikes me as the person that would just eat the used eggs off the set.
Bring me the eggs, please. There's to all the Italians out there, I'm sorry, you probably haven't heard content this offensive since like 1888, and you were being blocked from entering Ellis Island.
Yes, we are so sorry, but it is Italian films have so much personality in it. So much personality, so many tropes, so many traditions. I think is
like just so much style. Like they are not
really jiving.
They are not. They don't show up to play. They show up to do in their Sunday best, even if their Sunday best is cheap. They're going to find a way to make the fabric look shiny. They're going to find a way to make the cut look tight. They're going to find a way to make it be the most effective it can be.
They're a redneck bonfire. No matter where the redneck bonfire is, it is always going to be fun. And there's always going to be weird shit happening. Like hands down, an Italian film is like a redneck bonfire. I think is the best way I could describe them.
Yeah, no, kind of like the opposite of the movie 9, which is a bizarre anti-celebration of Italian culture because there's no Italian people involved in making it. The movies of Mario Bava are, in fact, the opposite. They are a pure celebration of Italian culture because they are everything that the Italians have proven themselves to be able to do, especially with horror movies, which is do something fast, gritty, cheap, effective, beautiful, nuanced, effective, evocative, atmospheric. They no matter what they're doing, they'll make you feel like there's got to be a reason that most of the great operas are Italian, and I think that's because the Italians know how to make you feel more than almost anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more. Oh, Ken, good choice, man.
Good. I'm glad you liked it, man.
Good fucking choice.
Yeah, no. It's one of those. It's one of those movies that I wanted to. I've been wanting to kind of watch for a while. Mario Bava is one of my favorite guys out there, and this next movie choice coming up has got some interesting stuff that I'm kind of thinking about. David,
okay,
yeah.
What are we going in on?
All right. Well, One of the movies is Night of the Lepus. Do you know anything about Night of the Lepus?
Night of the Lepus? Like lupus?
The word lepus and the word lupus are similar.
Yeah. What is lepus?
Okay, so you know how there are giant animal movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one's...
What's a lepus?
It's a giant rabbit movie.
Oh, so it's like a late Easter movie.
Yeah.
You're like, sure.
Yeah,
sure, we can go for that.
Yeah, why not? It's kind of like an Easter movie. I will say, David, I don't know if you know this about me. I am in actually a killer killer bunny movie.
Wait, what?
I'm in a little movie called Beaster Day.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, 100%.
What?
I play a guy who goes out to the woods.
How have you not told me this yet?
I play a guy who goes out to the woods with his stripper girlfriend, and
as you are wont to do.
And I really like to smoke cigarettes. And then the giant killer Easter bunny murders my stripper girlfriend after she takes her clothes off. And then I run away, and I'm pretty scared. And because I'm scared, I try to smoke one more cigarette. And the cigarette gives my position away, and I am decapitated by a large Easter bunny. That's a thing that happened. That's a movie that I'm in. That is a decision I made as an adult.
There's so many movies that I have said that about. It's like, this is a movie. I am in it. This is a thing.
All right. And then the other movie that we are choosing is Peninsula.
Oh, sorry.
The sequel, how absolutely dare you. The sequel to Train to Busan. Have you seen Train to Busan?
I have seen Train to Busan. It is a wonderful film.
Well, good. Yeah, there's a sequel. It's called.
There's a sequel?
There is.
Oh,
it's a Shudder exclusive.
Oh,
that's the other thing. Or the giant rabbit movie. I kind of get a feeling I know where this is going to go, but fuck it. You know what, David? Get in this fucking. Hang on. Beep beep beep. Get in there, you jerk. All right, you ready? Buckle up. Beep beep.
Oh god. Oh god.
Get out, loser. How dare you sully the name of Rory Calhoun? How dare you? Rory Calhoun is a national treasure, and I will not have you say anything negative about him.
Ken, who is Rory Calhoun?
He is one of the co-stars of Night of the Lepus, which I discovered while watching this. I've been pronouncing slightly incorrectly.
Name one other film that he's done.
Rory Calhoun was in IMDb. It was an excellent film that he was in.
God damn it. These are two very different films.
They are incredibly different. One new, one old, one borrowed, one blue. It's like our wedding, except we're not getting married.
Ken, can we do like a double feature? Like,
I mean,
they're both... For one thing, Peninsula looks just awesome.
I mean, yeah.
It's like, it's bright, it's fun, there's explosions, all sorts of... And Train to Busan is
this
great.
This movie has everything.
I'm gonna go with Peninsula.
Fine.
But I would totally be fine for a double feature.
Well, let's put
if you are game.
All right, let's see if we can fit it in.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell, if we want to do fucking 3 movies, we can do Night of the Lepus and Peninsula,
and then Snyder Cut,
and then we can throw Slacks. Oh god, we'd be here all goddamn. Actually, no, we wouldn't. I'd just be like, this movie is so...
We'll do Snyder Cut and Justice League and Man of Steel and Superman 3, and then on top of it, Supergirl. That's the whole next episode. Is a bunch of stuff that's
You're not going to throw Supergirl at me just so I can get a little dose of color.
I mean, like, you know I'm talking about the movie with Peter O'Toole, right? Not the show?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, I'm going to wreck your life, son. It's got Faye Dunaway in it. Everything's terrible. It's awful. That's the whole next episode is a whole bunch of stuff that's not on Shudder. Just because, you know what? Terrorism. Why not? David, do you have anything to plug?
Of course I do, Ken.
Well, what do you have to plug, David?
I'm going to plug my everyday life. By
Good.
You going to _DW Marley. You can see, what a normal schmuck I am. just trying to make a living
Good.
here in LA.
Fine.
You can also check us out on Shudder on Instagram, which is the page that I run, which we just reached 2,000 followers.
That's pretty rad.
So that's impressive, kind of, maybe.
Yes. So pretty mad
and
about
that's
it.
at Shudder_show. Ken, hey, you.
Yeah. No,
Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Well, fine. I mean, we're on Twitter at Shutter Show. Just all no weird cursors or underscores or anything. Just Shutter Show because I guess we got to it early. I'm on Twitter at Ken Stagnick, just my normal boring name. My dog is at Freddy Potatoes, FREDD.
Turns out is now aquatic.
He is. No, I have a dog who it turns out can swim. I found this out because he chased a duck directly off of a pier and into the water, and it was scary until it was cute. And then it was cute, but that's where we're at. And until then, next week, when we're going to be talking about Night of the Lepus and also Peninsula and the Snyder Cut and Supergirl and also Superman 3. So looking forward to it.
Oh, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, good night, good luck, and goodbye.
Go fuck yourself.